Talking Shirts is presented in partnership with White Oak Cottage. For more information, visit whiteoakcottage.co.uk.
Hello and welcome to this special edition of Talking Shirts. I'm Mike from Hull KR Shirts, and today we're going to take a look at this Hull KR Foundation wheelchair rugby league shirt. Now, we've never covered anything like this before, so some thanks have to go out to Alan Sheriff. Alan Sheriff, he is the captain of the Hull KR Foundation wheelchair side. He recently got in touch and asked me if I would be interested in doing an episode of Talking Shirts based around his shirt to help promote the wheelchair rugby league game in Hull. Alan, thank you very much. I really appreciate you loaning me this shirt. Selfishly, I get to have a feel and have a look at it. I love being able to see new things, but that also gives us the opportunity to do this episode of Talking Shirts and hopefully spread some awareness around the wheelchair game in Hull. So yeah, a little bit about the wheelchair game. Hull KR's wheelchair team was founded in 2023, mostly off the back of the success of the Rugby League World Cup in 2021. All three forms of the game, men's, women's and wheelchair, was promoted on equal footing. There was games live on the BBC, and the energy and the emotion and the excitement of the game was really captured in that final when England went on to beat France to win the Rugby League World Cup in the wheelchair game in 2021. A little bit about the wheelchair game. So it is 5-on-5. The Hull KR Foundation wheelchair team, they play their games at Hull Uni and at Ennerdale, and they also train at St Mary's as well. So they've got quite a few different pitches that they have access to, which is absolutely great from a community perspective. The game is played 5-on-5. Able-bodied players are allowed to play, but there is only 2 permitted on a team at any given time in a professional game. Kicks, and this is something I've always found really interesting, is taken with the fist. So anything from conversions and drop goals, sort of kicks for tries, everything comes through the fist, which I think is absolutely brilliant. And as I've said, you know, the emotion and the energy that was captured during that World Cup really has sort of spread across that rugby league community, and it has allowed Hull KR to form their Foundation Rugby League wheelchair side. When I was talking to Alan, he did send me a little video which shows kind of like the brutality of rugby league in the wheelchair form. I'll play that for you now. Yeah, thank you very much for sending me that video, Alan. I think that just kind of captures how brutal of a game it can be. Alan said the opposing player was complaining that he'd hurt his knees, but his son just said, well, yeah, we collect those. That's part and parcel of the game. So yeah, Alan, you and your son, you keep at it. You absolutely keep at it. So yeah, let's move on to the shirt now. So as you can see here, it is an all navy shirt with a red band going through the middle. Now you might not be able to see this on the video, but I will pop up some pictures for you. So there is dye sublimated Robin icons that feature all across the navy elements of the shirt. It's on the front, it's on the sleeves, it's on the back. When you stood in front of it in the right lighting, it is actually quite striking. It looks really, really good. We saw a similar effect used on the 2024 home shirt for the Hull KR first team shirt. You know, you'll remember seeing that we've got those icons that had been dye sublimated into the red. This is a little bit more subtle than that, but still looks absolutely fantastic. As I've said, we've got this big red band going through the middle. It's a design that we've seen in the past, most recently in 2020. Also an Oxen kit for the away kit design, and also all the way back in 2003. So it is a design that Hull KR have used in the past, and it's nice to be able to see this be taken on by the foundation, which will see the wheelchair side use this design, but also the LDRL, the PDRL, and quite a lot of the women's and the girls teams are going to use this style of kit as well. So yeah, it's a really good one that we've been able to sort of capture and create with Oxen. As you can see here, we have got the navy sort of collar going all the way around with this lovely red cuff, which just kind of finishes off that design element of that very nicely. It ties in with the band, it ties on with the cuffs as well. It just adds that little bit of colour. All of the sponsors and maker markers have been applied in white. We have got the Oxen branding and the Hull KR Foundation logo with the Robin icon there. Those have been dye sublimated into the shirt They are the only things that have been dye sublimated in there in terms of sponsorship or branding, and there is a reason for that. All of the sponsors that feature on here, these are the sponsors that are dedicated to the wheelchair side. The LDRL will have different sponsors, the PDRL could have different sponsors, and then the women's and girls teams will have different sponsors as well. So it's kind of given a really good sponsorship opportunity to various different businesses to sponsor a sort of set criteria. Gives obviously the foundation extra ways of driving some revenue and income into those streams as well. So all of the sponsors on here have been heat applied. So we've got XL modular buildings, BAM, and then places for people. These have all been heat applied, as I've said. It's a smart move from the foundation. It allows them some extra revenue, but it also gives them a little bit of security as well. If anything changes, it's much easier to remove a sponsor and then reapply something than it is if it's dyed into the fabric, because then you've kind of got size restrictions and things that would kind of make that a little bit harder. You may notice that the Oxen logo doesn't have the word Oxen underneath it. It's kind of like something I've noticed where when a piece of memorabilia has been produced by the club, if you look at it, it's kind of got if it's got the Oxen logo on it with the word mark underneath, then they've traditionally used the Hull KR club crest. But if it is something that has the icon on it, then the word Oxen doesn't really sort of appear on those items. It's just something that I've noticed in the last couple of years. Seems to be like a marketing or sort of design sort of plan. So yeah, I'm assuming that's the same case with this one here. Let's have a look at these sleeves, because there's something very interesting that goes on with these sleeves. So as you can see here, we have got good health and safety. That has been heat applied. And then underneath that, we have got this Velcro patch. So this Velcro patch here hasn't been heat applied. It has actually been stitched on. When I turn it inside out, and I will pop some better pictures up so you can see, there is this lovely sort of like cross stitch that has applied this Velcro patch. Now it looks like it's peeling, but that's only because the stitching doesn't go all the way to the end. Now the contact points on here are very important, because this is where the tag strips are applied, and then the point is that they pull those off, and that constitutes the tackle being completed. This Velcro patch can't come off. You know, it's important that that stays in place. So the fact that that's been stitched on just kind of is probably the wheelchair rugby league's variation of reinforced stitching on a collar or under an arm. That's where they get theirs, and that's in the Velcro patch on this sleeve here. And then we've got this lovely red cuff, which just kind of finishes off the design. As I mentioned earlier, the Robin icon also features quite prominently in the design here. The material that this shirt is made from is kind of like the replica style material that you would expect. Normally player shirts are applied with a different type of material, but these ones have been made with the replica style, sort of the fabric that's used for prototypes and sample shirts and things like that. All of these have been made with this. It's probably a little bit more comfortable to sort of wear as well, which is why the replica shirts are made in that vein. So as we have a look at this sleeve, we have got Moduflow Limited plumbing and heating systems. We have got another one of these Velcro patches which has been stitched in. Big fan of this. I really like it. I just think it's a wonderful sort of like touch and uniquity to a wheelchair rugby league shirt that you wouldn't naturally expect to see anywhere else. So yeah, that's where them tag strips go. Again, wonderful red cuff, Robin icon. Love it. Really, really good. Really, really good. So before we have a look at the back of the shirt, talk a little bit more about Alan, the design that's going on here. Here is a quick word from our sponsor.
White Oak Cottage is a 2-bedroom luxury holiday cottage set in the stunning Lincolnshire Wolds. It has 2 ensuite bedrooms, a hot tub, wood burner, Wi-Fi, electric vehicle charger, and is pet friendly. It is ideally situated in the Wolds, yet only 15 miles from the coast and 25 miles from the historic city of Lincoln. For more information, visit whiteoakcottage.co.uk.
Welcome back to this special edition of Talking Shirts. As you'll be aware, before the break, we was talking our way around this Hull KR Foundation wheelchair rugby league shirt, and we are now going to return with the back. So as you can see here, the sponsor on here is massive. There is clearly no regulations about how big a sponsor can be on the back of these shirts, because this one is absolutely huge. Now it has been applied sort of slightly lower down the back because there is a GPS tracker that has been stitched into the back of this shirt here. Now, to my knowledge, the wheelchair rugby league team don't wear GPS trackers at this time, but obviously this shirt is now future-proofed. there is the potential for this shirt to be worn as far as 2026. It's definitely going to be worn for the remainder of this season and all of next. I did a little bit of research, and it looks like this design could be used in 2026 as well. So there is, plenty of future proofing that's going on to this shirt. We've got the Focus Compliance Sponsor Limited. It's massive. As I say, it's huge. But when you think of a player being sat in a wheelchair, a lot of the the backing of the chair, or the fact they've had to lower it down, there could be some sort of obstructed elements to that sponsor. So the fact it is so big probably is to try and just combat some of those other sort of obstructions in the terms of the GPS tracker up here. With this being heat applied, if you was to apply it over the stitch, over a raised bump, it could peel easier. The safe option is just to kind of go a little bit lower. We do have squad number 13 here. These have been heat applied using the 2020 to 2023 Super League number set, which I think gives it, a really good look. Obviously, it's all applied in white. It looks really, really good. Obviously, the number is a little bit off centre. I think what it is whoever's heat applied it has probably lined it up with the word Compliance Limited here in this segment here when they've laid it out flat, and obviously, that's not central to the shirt or anything. So, it's a shame, but it doesn't take anything. It doesn't take anything away from that. As I've said, squad number 13. This shirt belongs to Alan Sheriff. He very kindly reached out and asked if I would be interested in doing an episode of Talking Shirts just to help raise some awareness about the Hull KR Foundation and the wheelchair rugby league game. Alan is a veteran, I suppose, of the wheelchair game. He played prior to joining Hull KR in 2023. He is a Hull KR fan, which obviously enticed him to come and play for the Robins. Before that, he was playing for Hereford. As I've said, he's the captain. He's probably the player in the team with the most experience. He also has the joy and the enjoyment of being able to play the game with his son, which is something which is really heartwarming and a very sort of typical rugby league story. In my opinion, it really just kind of encapsulates that community and that family element of the game. Alan actually travels 150 miles every time he plays or trains for the wheelchair side, which really does just show the dedication and the commitment and enjoyment that he gets out of the game of wheelchair rugby league, but also the club in Hull KR as well. Absolutely fantastic to see. Obviously, we saw a little bit of Alan in that little video that he sent, and I have popped some pictures up here where you can see the presentation that took place with presenting him with his shirt, which I'm sure will have been a very, very proud moment for not just him but his son and probably the whole family as well. It's really sort of heartwarming to be able to sort of see people like Alan who are that committed that he's willing to travel that far each time, obviously at his own cost, as we know. Cost of living crisis, petrol, it's not cheap. And the fact that he goes to those lengths and efforts to be committed to the side. And obviously Alan reached out to me. He came to me and asked if I would be interested in doing this to help promote the foundation and the wheelchair rugby league side as well. So he's clearly all about Hull KR Foundation wheelchair rugby league side and promoting that game and the club and trying to find that next level. So yeah, that's been this special edition of Talking Shirts. Really good fun. I've really enjoyed having the opportunity to be able to kind of look around this shirt, to see it, to feel it, to touch it. To most people, it's a bit weird. I get that. But for me, I could just sit and study and play with these things for hours. I just think it's really interesting. Every time I look at something, even something that I've had for years, I look at it and I see something different that I didn't see before. And for me, that is really special. So yeah, make sure you're following the Hull KR Foundation across social media. They're on Facebook, they're on Twitter or X, they're also on Instagram. All of the information with regards to fixtures, results, how to access the game. If you want to play, if you want to get in a chair when they train, I believe they train on Wednesday evenings. Reach out to the foundation. I'm sure Alan will probably be commenting and around when this video comes live as well. So feel free to sort of drop Alan a message. I'm sure he'll be more than happy to give you any information that you require with how to access playing or watching wheelchair rugby league for Hull KR. Thank you very much for watching this special edition. I'll be back in another couple of weeks with a brand new episode. Bye for now.